Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Tech Thursdays, week number 3. Today, we're going to use Scratch to make a sprite or a character fly. Like always, as you go through this, feel free to pause the recording at any time so you can experiment with Scratch. And so I want to first show you an example of something I made to make it fly so you can get an idea of some possible things you can do. So see, when you push play, it looks like, Ghost is flying. So there's a possible example, but you can really do whatever works best for you. So 3 things to do before we begin. If you haven't already, navigate to Scratch. That's the scratch.mit.edu and log into your account. If you do not have an account, please pause this video and create a free account so that way you can save your work. One, you can practice, you can save your work, and share it with other people as well. Number 2, just so you know, don't be afraid to fail. Coding or coding using Scratch may be new to you, and so you may mess up. If you feel yourself getting frustrated, just take a deep breath or take a break, walk away for a few minutes, and come back when you're ready to engage again. Once again, this is a recording. You can pause at any time and come back later when you're feeling better. And you're going to have times when you mess up, you're going to figure out, and you're going to figure out why it's not working the way you think it should be. That's part of why you're doing this, is to learn how to debug things. And then 3 is want you guys to have fun. Learning a new skill can be frustrating, challenging, but ultimately you want to have fun. So if you enjoy it, you're going to learn better. So this recording is going to consist of 3 different parts. The first part will give you an idea of kind of thinking of ideas. So rethinking. The second part is the instruction, where I'll show you how to go about using Scratch to make your character fly. And the third part will be more where you actually can create it, as well as you can share with others, especially if you have a Scratch account. You can share it with others there if you want. So today, you're going to start by choosing a character and program to fly. So I want you guys to think, if you want to even close your eyes, feel free to do so, but picture yourself flying. Close your eyes and imagine yourself flying. Where would you go? To another city, another state, another country, around the world? How high would you soar, or would you hover really low? Would you fly up to space and beyond, or would you stay low so you can watch people watch? Would you pick up a friend or a family member and carry them through the air? What about your body position? Do you flap your arms to stay afloat? Do you have them spread above your head? Send that to your sides. Now open your eyes. Do you have any ideas? If not, that's fine. We're going to see a video to help give you some ideas too. I watch this quick video here.
Using Scratch, you can make your own animations, games, and anything else you can imagine. This tutorial will show you how to animate a character flying like the Powerpuff Girls. Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls is really into coding.
Bubbles? I didn't know you could program. Yeah, I love to make games.
Coding is an awesome way to express your ideas and share them with others.
Awesome!
Are you ready to make something fly? First, choose a character. Pick a sprite from the library, or draw your own creation. If you want a character that looks like you can upload an avatar from the Powerpuff Yourself website. Next, set the scene. What is your character flying past? Buildings, trees, rainbows? It can be anything you want. Alright! Now, here comes the cool part. To make your character look like flying, move the scene behind it. Ooh. And look, your character is flying. It's pretty awesome what you can do with code.
That was amazing!
That's not all you can do. Want to make your character interactive? Make it move when you press arrow keys.
That was the greatest thing I've ever seen!
Now it's time to make it your own. Add clouds, hearts, unicorns, or any other floating things you got.
Okay, how about this?
You can add a store and make it a game.
Game on!
Or you could add more characters to fly with you. Fly alongside the Powerpuff Girls. You could add your whole crew. Now, you created your own flying animation, just like a Cartoon Network animator. This is only the beginning. What sort of things would you make fly? If you get creative and Scratch, there's no limit to your imagination.
You never know until you try.
To get started, follow the steps in the tutorial by clicking the blue button. When you're done, share your project with friends in the Scratch online community. Check out what cool stuff other people are making too.
Okay, so hopefully that gave you some ideas. I'm going to go in greater detail how to do some of those things as we go along, so you can pause it and actually see me doing it. But that just gives you an overview of how this process is going to work. So a few things to think about before we begin. You're going to have to think of character. What character do you want to make fly? Do you want the character to match the environment they're flying in? Do you have multiple characters flying together at once? What objects would be in this setting? So if you're like in a forest, you might have trees. If you're a city, you have buildings. Now remember, you can change things later. So if you want to start simple and then add more characters or scenery later, you can. I'd recommend maybe starting with one character is flying and maybe one piece of scenery. Once you get the hang of that, you can add more. So let's start. First step is we're going to start by choosing our sprite. This is the one that's going to be flying. So let me go to, go back to Scratch. Now, if you ever want to watch the tutorial for this, when you sign in, you can go to ideas here and you scroll down here. They have a bunch of activity guides. So we're going to focus on make it fly. So click there. And it's going to say try the tutorial. Now it's going to come up creating project. It's going to come up with actually a little video here that you can actually play as well. And that will show you exactly what you need to do. Up here, you can title it whatever you want. So it will save it for your account. So like I said, you can always watch this video if you need some help how to do it. If you don't need it, you close it. So the first thing we're doing, I was mentioning, is we're going to choose our sprite. So I'm going to get rid of the cat. I don't really want the cat. So click here, sprite. We'll choose a sprite from the library. As you see, there's different, you can do all and scroll through from a person. They have letters, fashion, food, sports, music, dance, fantasy, people, animals, all goes through all of them. Decide what you want. It could be a ball bouncing. I'm going to go fantasy. Yeah, I'm going to have a dragon flying. Now, other thing I'm going to do is look at the costumes here, because there's different, if you notice when I went over it, there's different angles of the dragon. I want mine to look more like he's flying, so I'm going to choose Dragon B. So there I've chosen my sprite. That was the first step. Second step is we're going to choose a new sprite for your character to fly past. This is the scenery. This could be buildings if you want your character to fly through a city. It could be birds or planes or even planets if you want a character to fly through space. And you can choose multiple items, but I'm recommending you start with one so you can tell you make sure you have it moving correctly. So let's go back to what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go here and choose another sprite. And I'm going to think, where would I want my character to fly, or what would I want him to fly past? The dragon. Could do fantasy again, but you know what? I think I might do, let me look at all, because what would be a good thing to have? Could do buildings. You could have them in a city. Buses if he's flying really low. Cars, dinosaurs, and flying through a old land. So see, there's a bunch of different options. I am going to go ahead and choose city bus. I'm going to move it down here. So my is going to be kind of low. The other thing, though, we might want to change how this looks. Of course, the only problem is now that it's ended that way, the writing comes backwards. Let's see, what is that one? Oh, I could have it open top. Yeah, I think that's fine. I'll just do that way. Okay. Now let's go back and see what the next step is. So we chose one sprite to fly and one sprite for scenery right now. So the next step is going to make the scenery move. Now this is the part that's more complicated. If you get frustrated, like I said, take a break, take a big deep breath and come back. You may have to do some trial and error here. And you may want to copy this tutorial, watch that little tutorial the first time you do this. So let's go back to our Scratch screen here, and we got to select the city bus because that's actually what's going to move. It's going to look like the dragon's moving, but really it's going to be the city bus moving. And actually, let me go back to the dragon. He is a little, I'm going to make his size a little smaller. Might make it look like he's flying a little higher there before I begin. Okay, so I click on the city bus because that's what I'm going to have move. Now, I'd recommend you're going to start with an event. I'm recommending when the green flag is clicked is the event you can do. You can choose a different event. When the sprite is clicked, that would be when you click on the bus, it would move. The green flag is good because you can do a whole scene and plate when you start the flag. Next thing we're going to start is a motion block. Those are the blue ones here. And it's best to choose the change X by block. So if you see the X axis here, so if you're not familiar with X axis, is this horizontal axis and Y is vertical up here. You can see here X, Y. So you'll want to change the X axis so it will move along this way horizontally. So we're going to scroll down here and we're going to see there's change Y by, here's change X by. And you click on it and see what it does. So right now it's moving forward. So we actually want to make it probably negative. So we'll just start with -10. And then when you click on it, see the bus ends up moving backwards by that amount. Thirdly, we might want to pick a control block. Maybe you want to have it repeat forever. You can choose this. Or you may want to just have it repeat 10 times, however you want to do that. And then click on it. See, and it stops here. So we'll have to actually fix that to make that work better. Because we're going to have to move it back over here. So let's see. We're going to go back to motion. Well, actually, let's go back to control. Well, actually, we'll come back to that. Let's go to the next step here. And we'll work on fixing that a little later. So step 4 is we're going to choose a backdrop. So we're going to make sure we have a backdrop that fits where the character is flying. And the backdrop, it's the background. So to do that, we'll click over here as backdrop. Click search. Now I have a city bus. So what I would probably have as a backdrop would be somewhere like a city, outdoors, like a road. You click on outdoors and see. Could just be a blue sky like that. It looks kind of like a city road or kind of dirt road there. You could have it going by a field, a farm, a hill, a little metro area if we want to have it that. Night city might be a little too dark, which I guess he could be hiding under the nighttime playing field. So there's a lot of different options. Past a wall. I'm going to try night and see what that looks like. Oh yeah, it's just flying at night. A city bus is going by. Now you're going to make it more complex. So this is where you want to go back and you want to fix the flight, make sure it's going correctly, it repeats itself. You may want to add a flying sprites. You may want to add more scenery that could pass by. You may want to have them talk to each other and have like a story going on. You may want to have the flying sprite move when a key is pressed. If it goes up or down, so you could make it into a score. You can add a scoring system and actually make it a game if you want. See, whatever you can imagine you guys create. You'll just need the patience and trial and error to get it going right. So one of the things I wanted to do is this bus. I have it. The problem is it stays over there instead of going over here. So I got to figure out how to get it to do that. So I'm going to want it to reset the X. Looks like X is at 303. Let's see what that does. Yeah, see, it's not moving, so we got to do something else. I got to have something in between. Yeah, see, it's not enough time in between. What I could do, something like, let's try 20 seconds. See, the problem is it's the forever thing. I think, let's delete them all. Start fresh. So let's go back to, we're going to change the X by. We'll do the -10, seemed to work pretty well. But instead, we're going to repeat 10 times. Yeah, 10's not enough, so let's up it to 20 and see what that does. And this is part of the trial and error I'm talking about. Okay, go back to motion. And we're going to set X to, we're going to put that maybe on top, so maybe it starts there. I think it was 303. That's what I had it at. Yeah, so at least it's starting there. But what I can probably do, now I could probably do the forever one. But we just want the forever roundabout to change there by. Nope, see, it's still not doing it right. So see, as I said, it's trial and error. You have to figure out how to get it to do what you need to do. So it's going to be some changing of things. So what we can do is we got controls here. I'm thinking it might be better to add some seconds in there. Well, I'm going to move on for now, but the idea is you're going to mess with that and make it more complex. Instead, you can add then other stuff in there. Like if you, once you get that one moving, at that point, you may want to add, see if they have any trees, maybe. You know, maybe add a tree in here or something in the city, whatever works best for you. And then you'll do the same thing for the trees you did with the bus. To get it moving, you may add some birds in the sky, whatever you can imagine. But you'll mess with that until you get it correct. That's why I recommend starting with one. As you can see, it was kind of difficult. If you start with one sprite moving, you can then make sure that's correct before you move on to the next one. So as I mentioned, so you're going to have them debugging steps. When you're stuck, you may want to talk to someone, get some ideas from them, try out bits of code at a time so you can observe what is happening in each step so you can see where the breakdown occurs. Look closely at the blocks you use. They're using the tutorial, so I'd watch that idea tutorial to see, or if there's be some activity cards I'll post with this, and look at those and see if you're using the same blocks that they are. And just remember, bugs happen. Bugs will happen, and knowing how to work through them, through that issue is an important skill to have, so you're developing a skill. So now just general thoughts about this project. What did you like best about the project you made? What was the hardest part? Was it getting those sprites to fly and work out? And what would you change if you did it again? Because you can recreate lots of stuff, so you can do it again if you want. And change the story, make it to a game if you want, whatever you want. So I just want to thank you for joining us this time. Make sure you can watch the tutorial. You can watch this again if you want. You can watch the tutorial that is through Scratch by going to that ideas page. Make sure you create accounts you can save and you can share with other people. And next week, we'll have another Tech Thursday with a new project. Thank you so much.